Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Garblag Games. I'm Dan, the Garblag Troll, released once again from the very depths of Garblag Towers, released to bring you some subpar, mediocre content, which we'll kind of put in somewhere, but hey, what the hell. Thank you very much for joining us tonight for Star Wars Tale of the Warlords. I'm joined by my lovely player group tonight, but a quick series of news rounds. Don't forget that you can still use your Amazon Prime account to get one free Twitch channel, and don't forget to subscribe to us. Don't forget your Garblag Groats, 1,000 of them will make my life a pain in the ass and get my players a wonderful reroll. We know who you are.
Yeah, we do.
Tomorrow night will be the third session of our Alien game, which is getting a bit creepy. But we're all enjoying that. And don't forget that after that, we will be doing classic second edition D&D OSR old school roleplay game set in Dragonlance. Do you remember Dragonlance? That's that thing that we all used to read as kids. And if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you very much for coming and seeing us. And don't forget to like, share, and just subscribe. So anyway, back to Star Wars Tales of the Jedi. I'm joined tonight by my lovely group. And let's start with Nye, who is playing
E2B1, I should do it in the voice. E2B1, ex-Imperial medical droid.
Eve.
Yes, I'm playing Amira Belsarin. I'm the mechanic on the ship.
Jim.
I'm playing Gax Datton, an ex-stormtrooper turned gambler.
And Colin.
I am playing Catalana Tavik, a former Imperial fighter pilot.
We did have a bit of a break from our last session. It's not all Jim's fault, but we will secretly blame Jim. That's fine. He's fine with that.
So big shoulders.
So he's got very broad shoulders.
Yeah.
Is it secretly blaming him when you declare it on a public Twitch channel?
He doesn't get a reroll for that. So this might very well be our last episode. Oh, sad news. But I do promise some high Star Wars shenanigans, swashbuckling space opera adventure. But as Jim wasn't with us in our last session, I think we should have a bit of a recap. But we have had a bit of a hiatus, so I am welcome to reminders of what happened. When last we saw our heroes, and please anyone chip in as I'm going through this, when last we saw our heroes, they had successfully run through the Imperial/Rebel battle fleet above the moon of Shadow. They had been chased by time bombers, which, you know, they sort of beat success. And the jury's out on it. We'll you know.
We flew away. One of the TIE bombers didn't. We'll call it a win, but it wasn't a particularly. It wasn't a particularly.
And I think that's where
pick one. It's not really one for the tales of legend. One for the bars.
Yeah, it was
barroom stories. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, on our account and for our defense, I guess we were piloting in a white in 13 Hatchet, and they were piloting a TIE bomber. So I call that a win.
He was really rubbish as well. So it wasn't even like, David and Goliath. It was David and a slightly less powerful
David and Bob.
Yeah, basically.
David and Bob, yes.
I think if he wants, we can call a revenge with something like a real fighter.
If you really want to see what happened, go back and check out the video on YouTube.
Yeah,
and I think that was where Jim left us. So then the players landed their YT-13 frigate on the planet Shadow, which has that sort of bioluminescent land coral sort of life over its black rocky exterior. they managed to land their ship high up in the folds of one of these blue glowing corals. But they had a bit of an effort climbing down. There had to be a bit of they scienced it with rope to get the droid.
Some shenanigans with synth rope,
to get the droid out of the canopy and onto the floor, which they successfully did. And then when on the ground, they made their way through the rocks, where they encountered what can only be described as a armored wraith. So, like, if you think Lord of the Rings, with all that kind of tattered black robes, deep, sinister hood, can't see the facial features except for a pair of glowing red eyes. The robes are tattered. Instead of like medieval armor, though, it's kind of like black, sort of power armor, gloved boots, arms, wrists, that sort of thing. And he pulled forth a red lightsaber, and he basically said, in no uncertain terms, you hand over the adjutant now, or I'm going to murder you all, which was followed up by quite the successful, for those who were keeping track, force fear power.
Yeah, that worked.
Yeah. Well, it didn't work on me, but I'm a medical droid, so
I didn't work on you because you're a robot. But yes, I just freaked out and ran away.
So that so to live, because it wasn't felt at the time that you could take him on. No. Jury's out. We'll see what happens. You handed over this Imperial adjutant who has been with you since day one.
I think she handed herself over, to be honest. So.
For an Imperial, she was awfully, what's the word I'm looking for? She put herself on the line so you guys didn't get killed.
Yeah, she surrendered herself.
Yeah, for an Imperial. Bit weird, but there you go.
She gave someone the...
she slipped.
I've got the watch because I tried to grab the and run away, and she just stayed in place.
And that watch is the adjutant's captain's watch from the Superstar Destroyer, who apparently learned the ways of war underneath the general of the rebel forces that you're about to go and meet.
Yeah, it's also little safe keep to say we are friends or something.
Yes, we are actually from. Well, it's evidence that we are from the guy who we say we're from.
Yes,
we're coming on the behalf of the person we're saying.
So this
honesty,
thing,
something.
which I believe I gave the name for out of character, and I'm happy to share it again.
Something.
Darth Viscera.
Yes,
will make.
And I believe
I've got a feeling we actually heard that name in character. Well, some of us, those of us who didn't just break themselves and run away, because I've got a feeling.
The adjutant said it. She said, Darth Viscera.
I don't think I've heard the name because I was too busy wetting myself and running in terror.
There might have been some comment about my, Darth voice.
Yes.
I took notes on the name, so
it's a sinister evil thing.
The intimidating scene was kind of ruined by us running away, but me still standing there. So it's like hard to see.
What's going on?
Oh, they ran away.
You successfully ran away, apart from the droid, who walked.
Yeah.
You then came across a kind of like forward patrol of Stormtrooper scouts. From the battle that was raging around by the rebel base. The Imperial forces were sieging it, basically. You had a fight. Jim, I can successfully say you killed a couple of Stormtroopers. You have actually picked up a sniper rifle.
Okay.
It's not white. That's a flashback to another joke we were talking about with Garblag earlier before we came online. It's a camoed giant laser rifle. Sniper's got a scope.
Okay.
It's only got about 3 shots left in it. But those shots do kind of like 60, and the scope gives you 1D to targeting.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, you'll need to get a charger for it.
Yeah. But other than that is a nice gun.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure charges and should be easier to get by rather than just getting the whole weapon.
Does anyone have a socket anywhere? Like, can I just plug this in, or is that?
Don't you just throw them on the fire to heat them up?
No, that's 40k.
Oh yeah, it's also an evil. Anyway, right, where was it? Yeah, so you fought these stormtroopers, and then you kind of using their tracking equipment.
Yeah, we got their maps
and
or
sensor
something.
packs and maps. You found what you think was the back door / secret entrance to the rebel base, and you made your way down into a very kind of like thin, narrow ledge that was in a canyon. And you came across a pair of blast doors, very much like the blast doors in Return of the Jedi at the Battle of Endor, the ones that they're trying to short circuit into. Which they did. They did spend some time debating on whether or not to knock, whether or not
we knocked first and no one answered. So
yeah, exactly. In the end, you did knock and no one answered the door, so you decided to hack the door. I think you were successful.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then closed it again behind us.
Yes, and I forgot that doors open and close. So he thought once it closed, it would close forever and would never open again, even though the button to open it was just right there.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about what happened.
Yeah,
Your
I got
thought
confused.
process is there.
Yeah, I was like, it'll close, it'll never open again. But we just opened it.
Now we're inside. Presumably it's not locked from the inside because.
That was it. Yeah.
And you had made your way through the kind of corridors, again, a bit like the Hoth base in Empire Strikes Back, but rather carved out of ice. It's carved out of black rock. And you've made your way into what looks like a sort of triage station, medical triage station, where a bunch of rebel soldiers are either lying on the floor in this room, like being triaged for medical attention, or there are medics, or there's a couple of guards. So you've kind of walked in on this. I can't think of anything else. Can anyone else remember anything?
We left it there because we were about to try and talk to them. Thought that it would be a good idea to have our talkie person
have your talkie
with us when we were actually doing the talkie stuff.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned earlier, this was well likely to be our last session. So don't forget your character points to spend.
Burn them.
And don't forget your force points as well. So if you're not force sensitive, you have a force point. What a force point does is that when you declare to use it, you double your dice pool. But you don't get to spend any character points if you do it. But if it is your last session and, these are the dice rolls that might decide the fate of your characters, feel free. Right, so on that note, the deck officer of this group of rebels dressed in his kind of rebel commando fatigues, he looks like the rebel commandos from the Battle of Endor on the moon of Endor, except where rather than greens, it's more greys and blacks. And he's got his long coat and his blaster rifle slung over his shoulder, and he goes, "Who the hell are you guys?"
All of us turn to.
Oh, what more than Star Wars? Who the frack are you guys?
We just kind of stepped out into their sight, I think.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. We all just turn slowly to the face of the group.
Our intention was basically to walk up and say hello. We tried knocking on the door and no one answered, so we came in. I'm not saying that. I'm just reminding people what we were doing.
No, I know.
we saw the light then.
Yeah, pretty much. Gax, you're the one with all the talkie skills.
Yeah.
Want to make friends with some rebels we've just surprised by walking in their unguarded back door.
So yeah, we were travelling, carrying cargo from somewhere where we got attacked by Imperial spacecrafts, and we've had to make an emergency landing. Yeah, so we're looking for a bit of help. Unfortunately, I've talked myself into a bit of trouble if you guys are Imperials.
Do we look like Imperials to you, laddie?
Well, you never know these days. Yeah.
That was really fucking random. I'm sorry for any Scottish people that might be watching. That was disgraceful.
Fine. It's fine.
Where the hell do you think you are?
Yeah, well, we're not sure. We're not from around these parts, so we're looking for some friendly faces and a bit of help to get our ship back on the move again.
Well, I don't know if you know what's going on here, Sunshine, but you're in the middle of a battle. This is a rebel base. We're being attacked by Imperials. I don't think we've got the time to kind of fix your ship.
Well, maybe
so unless you want to help get
out.
stuck in.
Yeah, well, you scratch our back, we'll scratch yours, sort of thing, yeah?
Send 2 strapping lads with a car jack, just lift the ship back. What I love is, it's like, hi, soldiers. We've just like, sorry, go Gax or Jim.
Yeah, well, if we get the ship up and running again, there's an extra bullet in your gun, so to speak.
I love it. It's the best. No, it is. It's honestly, it's the reason why you play with Jim, because he's just freaking fantastic. We came through the back door. Yeah, definitely.
I'll accept con or armed. Whatever it is probably going to be a perception. I'll set command, persuasion.
This is the main base. To as far like we just assume. We don't have any confidence.
This is the main base for this area, for like the deep core.
All right. Okay.
So we were looking just out.
But it was a rogue rebel cell.
Right.
So
that was it.
Can I make a persuade roll?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I remember that was the thing we weren't sure about, because we weren't sure if these were the rogue cells or the normal. That's why I was remembering there was a hiccup.
Well, the base is a rogue base, and frankly, you're not sure who you're talking to at the moment because they all look like rebels.
You'd recognised at least one of them as some of the people who were shooting at us.
Yeah, one of the guys on the floor.
Yeah. Bleeding
out.
Yeah. Oh, I know that guy. I mean, I don't know who that guy is.
Yeah, 15.
That gives you a bit of a look at goes. All right, you ladies and gentlemen, follow me. I'm going to take you to the general.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I'd love to see the general. Yeah.
Okay.
He kind of unslings his blaster rifle, kind of points in the direction of a nearby tunnel with the barrel of his gun, and you and this deck officer and a couple of guards. So 3 of them in total. Oh, excuse me. 3 of them in total kind of march you through this rebel base, and it's chaotic. It shakes violently now and again from an impact hit. In the distance, you can hear blaster artillery rounds, people screaming. You can hear blaster fire.
It takes me back.
The rocks, because of the shaking of the rocks, a lot of powders in the air as well. So it's a bit smoky, a bit dusty as you're making your way through. In the distance, for those who know the noise, you think you can hear the sound of that familiar kind of creaking of metal of an AT-AT kind of leg sort of thing. You know, that kind of thing. And then the sort of turbo fire laser building shaking again. And you make your way out and basically dug into the sort of contours of one of these giant corals is a trench. And you kind of go into one of these trenches and standing there in his kind of camo gear, grey and black camo gear, his coat sort of not on his sleeves, but hung on his shoulders, big giant cigar in his hands. Is a human. He's not wearing his helmet. He's kind of got a skinhead haircut. He's got a bit of a kind of big bushy beard like down to his chest. And he takes one look at you guys, and he kind of goes to the deck officer and goes, "What the hell is this, LT? What have you brought me?" And he's kind of got that sort of claw-like hand, like he uses his cigar and his claw holding the cigar like as a sort of point. He's using it to point at people. And around you, this kind of battle is raging. From your position up on this trench, you can see down. If you stick your head over, you can see these kind of like 3 or 4 AT-ATs firing.
I am not sticking my head over the edge of this trench. I'm just going to say.
Firing, and you can hear it's like stormtroopers and bikes, and you can see speeders kind of flying overhead, and the occasional explosion and men shouting, and this guy just seems to be this stable pool of calm in this sea of chaos as everyone's sort of running around him, and he just kind of points to his lieutenant and goes, "What the hell is this?" And he goes, "I'm sorry, General, I just didn't know what to do with them." And he turns around to you guys and he goes, Who the hell are you? And why the hell should I care?
Well, we're independent traders, stroke mercenaries, stroke whatever you want us to be. If you help us, we're willing to help you in this battle. Have you got a ship that we can use?
Stroke bakers, woodsmen.
Son, does it look like I have a ship that I could be using right now?
Well, we've got one. If you've got any decent engineers who can get us back up there, then you know what I mean.
Don't tell him what it is. Don't tell him it's a truck, basically. Just be like, oh, it's a really good ship. You want this back up. Yeah, just shh.
We're trying to find their... This is possibly the guy we're here to talk to.
Yeah, probably.
No,
So
I bet he's
it's-
only like a janitor. This doesn't sound like a guy.
Yeah,
I
the
don't-
lieutenant just called him a general.
That was
Yeah,
listed.
and we're after a general, so you know it might be at some point we might want to drop the line.
How badly is your ship bust up, son?
I'm going to turn to Catalan and say, were we after a general?
Your lies get
that right there was the sound of a character who is just exhausted.
What? I also.
That's fucking brilliant.
Okay, and what she says is your lies get so tangled up on themselves sometimes that you don't know when to let them go.
Well, we took a left at the planet, and they said talk to the general.
He's going to
show where
look over
go.
to the general and say, "Would you be General Tyr?"
No.
I am General Tyr, but around here they call me General Bastion.
And she'll nod to Mirabella and say,
Yeah.
"Do you recognise this?" Expecting
Mirabella,
Mirabella to hold
do you
out. But
produce?
Yeah,
said-
of course.
Evidence.
And he looks at you and he kind of got a bit of a gritty face. Puts the cigar in his mouth, chews on it thoughtfully, takes it out, and goes, "Now, where did you get that?"
it was handed to us by an Imperial captain who doesn't want to be an Imperial captain anymore. The smaller of the two things he's got to offer you is a Super Star Destroyer.
Smaller, you say.
Yeah.
An explosion goes off right next to him. He doesn't flinch.
I do. But anyway, just saying.
What's the larger?
Son,
Well,
I'm actually confused. I'm sorry. Continue.
what's the bigger thing?
Yeah.
half a Death Star.
Oh.
That one requires a little more clearing and
Work.
recovery.
He calls you son, despite the fact that you are a woman. And he goes,
Yes.
"Son, sounds to me that you boys have got a story to tell. Come with me."
Also, not necessarily a lot of time to tell it.
Jumps off the train.
So-
Come with me.
Well, it's got to be brief then. And he kind of marches off.
Okay, I'll follow him.
You literally walk a few, like almost a yard just down the trench into a series of steps dug into it. It goes into a doorway, and you're into a dugout, almost like a World War One trench dugout. And in there is a sort of World War One / kind of Viet Cong tunnel command center like thing with a map, hollow map though, some computer banks, a bunch of people kind of giving orders and stuff, a couple of droids pressing buttons. And he takes it to a hollow table and he goes, "Right, tell me the whole story."
We were contracted by an Imperial officer, adjutant. What was her name, OC? Because I've forgotten in the last 3 weeks.
It's going to require me looking at my notes. Just call it adjutant at the moment. Daharana. Daharaha.
Daharaha? Okay.
Daharaha.
True.
Daharaha.
What?
Daharaha.
Sure, why not?
It's gotta have the adjutant.
Yeah, sure. Who was attempting to make contact with the local rebels. They decided that the best course of action was to try and kill us before we'd even got there.
He stops you there, points to where you're standing and goes, "These local rebels?"
I believe so. They seem to take blowing up a cantina as a way of opening negotiations.
That's interesting. We did come across a bit of information in their databanks correlating to an operation where they wanted to take out an Imperial spy and her bodyguards.
Well, the Imperial spy was was in the process of trying to defect. So I'm not entirely sure where that was going, but. Getting shot at was not what I was expecting. Getting shot at by the people we were trying to contact wasn't where I was expecting that mission to go. But
These
anyway.
rebels aren't. These rebels have fallen from the cause a long, long time ago. If you're not on their side, you're the enemy.
Anyway, moving on. In escaping from them, we came across what appears to be a prototype Death Star. It is full scale minus the planet killing death ray, whatever the hell that thing was. It's a massive it's a massive space station that can be reclaimed and probably manned and used
But there was that big creature though, wasn't there?
There was a space kraken lurking around. So yeah. We know where that is. We can give you information. We've also now met with the Imperial captain. What the hell was his name? I've forgotten again.
Is it
Reese Nulon.
No.
Sorry?
Reese Nullen, I've got here. Did I use that one?
I can't remember. I honestly can't remember.
I've written some NPC names down here. It might not have actually been the name I used on the night.
I've got the Lieutenant Vandal, but I'm not sure who that is.
just like, I don't know, man. Like General, what's his face with the ship? Just take the watch.
She will actually use the name. Right?
No, I know.
So,
Lucent Tamar is an NPC in a different game, but anyway.
But you should know that's the person who the watch belongs to.
But anyway, yes, she'll say the name. He wishes to defect. He wants to ensure that his crew are protected. So the reason we don't have, however, a lot of time to discuss a lot of this is the same reason as the adjutant is not with us right now to tell you this story herself. We ran into what I can only assume is a Sith. If it's not a Sith, it's someone doing a damn good impression of a Sith, or at least what I've heard Sith are like. Because
cosplaying.
Yeah, she handed herself over.
What did it look like?
Tattered, armored, fucking terrifying. Like I've not
Darth Viscera
before. Yeah, that was the name.
Yeah,
used.
we've crossed paths before. We know her.
Her, okay. So yeah. Well, she has the adjutant, and that means that she mimes glancing at what the Star Wars equivalent of glancing at a watch. She's going to know everything we know about all the tactical.
Do we know anything?
Details. Well, like the location of half a Death Star.
Oh, I thought you meant like that.
Why is it only half a Death Star? Is it?
It was built into a planetoid.
Asteroid.
It's the mock-up, yeah.
So Darth Viscera,
Alpha.
you know of old. She's the former secret apprentice of a Sith Lord by the name of Count Dooku. She's currently working for one of the Imperial Warlords by the name of Duke Villainous, which is coming up with all the tropey Star Wars names in this game.
I mean, that's got to be
Duke Villainous, who is, as we have learned earlier, allied with Moff Thrackan, who is currently pointing to the ceiling in orbit above us, blowing the hell out of the Rebel fleet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Job
We don't have time for this.
No.
Do you have a ship?
We have a ship. It is not a combat ship.
Is it enough to get me up to the New Hope?
That depends on what and where the New Hope is, but probably.
The New Hope is our Mon Calamari MC-880A Star Cruiser that's currently in orbit. Can you get me up there?
I dare say we can achieve that.
Was this the same ship that you used to find that you found the Death Star in?
Yes.
And how many hyperspace jumps ago was that?
That was 2 jumps from here.
2.
27.
Okay. All right. He kind of looks around and he shouts, "Major!" This major comes running over. He gives a salute. "Sir," goes, "I'm going off planet. I'm leaving command to you.
Feed the cats.
Your job, your orders to hold position no matter what. Get me 4 good men." The major goes, "Yes, sir," and he runs off. And then soon there's like 4 men in camo gear and blaster rifles kind of tonking up. And the general goes, "Right, take me to your ship. Let's get the hell out of here. We'll get onto the flagship. We'll talk to the admiral. And we'll figure out what the hell we've got to do, because we have not got time. We cannot afford to let the Imperials have this station." Are we all agreed?
No. Yes, we agreed.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Well, ladies and gents, welcome to the Rebel Alliance. Let's go.
No.
So rather than having to walk all the way back, he gets a skiff, like the ones from Return of the Jedi, kind of open top platform.
Okay.
Very little railings between you and a drop, as is Star Wars architecture and design.
No OSHA compliance.
Definitely a health and safety issue.
Yeah.
I can't fly this. I can't fly this effectively anyway.
It's got one of the commandos, one of these rebel commando types is kind of steering it.
Okay.
And
I mean, it can 4D fly it because mechanical, but...
And you take flight. You have to kind of skirt over the battlefield a little bit, and you can see one of the AT-ATs has been destroyed, and there's only 2 of them. There's only a couple left, as the kind of like rebel artillery emplacements kind of try and have a pop at the oncoming AT-ATs, but it's still too close to call on who's going to win or who's going to hold.
Yeah.
And you fly towards the YT 1300.
Wild die.
The Wild Die. Park the skiff up next to it.
Yeah.
And you will
set
bundle
her
on board.
up there because we didn't want unwelcome guests.
You're able to recover your ropes if you hadn't already.
Yeah.
You kind of bundle on board the ship.
Okay.
And the general goes, "I need a secure comm line to the New Hope. Can you set that up for me? I'd rather be talking to them as we're en route." Someone needs to make a comms roll, which is a mechanical.
Okay.
Yeah, I can.
Or
I've got two,
racing.
I've got 2D plus 2 communications now. Because I spent some points in there.
Your mechanical is so much... Yeah, I could do it so much better than that, but I'm busy.
If you can do better, please do.
I'm busy. I'm taking off.
Yeah, he's going to be taking off.
Catalana is heading straight for the cockpit and starting to warm up the engines. And
If anyone has better than 2D+2, please do.
Yeah, I do. Well, I've got 3D+1, so.
go for it.
Fair enough.
Sorry, I assumed the tech would be reasonable at doing comms stuff. It seems odd that that's under mechanical, not tech.
Yeah, that's a bit odd. Yeah, I agree. But it seems like that's something I've been doing a lot during all the flights, because Gax is usually on the flight on the turrets,
blowing stuff up.
Which is weird.
It's
Technical
better,
has
right?
got the explosive skills under it. It has demolitions.
I go to my cupboard.
15.
15. Okay, you set up a secure comm line for the general to talk to the flag and to talk to the rebel task force, and he's quite intensely sort of shouting down his comm link to the flagship. As you guys kind of get to your guns, get to your posts, start up your engines. I'm not going to make you roll for taking off. What I am going to ask though is, as you approach the kind of starfield, the atmosphere kind of clears and you see the wideness of inky blackness of space, stars twinkling away, and it's kind of blasts of light and flashing of energy as you come up on this space battle where several Star Destroyers are engaging a small rebel task force consisting of a Mon Calamari cruiser, Nebulon B frigate, corvette, you know, the usual shenanigans. You have got to be, you know where it's the Mon Calamari cruiser, that's where you've got to go.
Yeah.
How do you want to do it? Do you kind of want to go around and back in or through?
I think avoiding the worst of the fighting makes sense, because we're in a transport ship. My piloting is good, but let's not take the piss.
Is our gun still broken? Or
No.
Fixed? Yeah, we got that
No.
fixed. Okay.
You fixed that.
Yeah, it was only temporarily broken.
But yeah, I'll try and find a way around.
Yeah, go around the houses, so to speak.
Make a piloting roll.
Okay.
Actually, oh, never mind.
Actually, 12 Death Stars just appear behind you, and you know, dodge that.
15. Wild die was a 6, so rolling it up gives me a 17.
Okay.
Not a brilliant roll.
No, but it's enough to kind of circumvent the main bulk of the battle, and as you then kind of bank and glide and turn towards the carrier, several X-Wings come in around you to kind of support your approach and shadow and make sure you don't take any incoming fire.
You got an escort. That's sweet.
We have a general on board.
And now we're really inconspicuous, which is good.
So, you do become a target, and TIE fighters do go for you, but these three kind of X-Wings are kind of keeping everyone at bay, taking the hit. Your ship does take a little bit of a pan, you know, the ship shakes a little bit under blaster fire. So as such, you are making what I would consider a combat landing. You're not landing with the usual kind of tractor beams and whatnot and navigation controls. So can I have a piloting roll to land in a combat situation? So basically you're approaching fast and deaccelerating as faster.
20.
Very good. Okay, so
I land it smooth.
The ship kind of hurtles in towards the docking bay. At the very last minute, it kind of pulls up, uses its reverse thrusters, reverse polarizes the repulse lift plating, and it deaccelerates quite a heavy rate, and it kind of comes up at a degree angle like such, and then you kind of bring it back into a flat, and you land it on the deck.
A flight attendant just like, wow, that person made it great, like at least a 20 landing. You know? Steve, we're in a battle. Could you not watch ships come in? Sorry.
Yeah, that was a smooth one.
Right, so the general kind of says to you guys, right, we're going to go and meet the admiral. He's already putting together and formulating a plan of what to do next. I'm not 100% happy with it because it will involve leaving the battle here. But I'll let him explain it. Come on, let's go.
Okay.
Just like the idea of like E2 being left behind, just like, we need to go quickly. Got it, sir.
Shuffle.
C3PO is kind of it's fine.
You can catch up at your own rate.
we need a Wookiee. This is why we need the Wookiee co-pilot to carry the droid.
Pick up the droid and sling it on your back.
Yeah. I like the idea, like when you guys were like, okay, we need to go, and then like they were coming back. I had just made it halfway to where you guys are going. Like, oh.
Okay, I'll turn around and go back now.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Right, okay.
So you open up the hangar bay doors. The landing platform comes down.
Yeah.
Airlock opens, and you head down the gangway, followed by the general and his small commando team. A couple of deck crew kind of meet you on the deck, and they ask you to follow them and kind of head into a turbo lift, head up to the bridge of this Mon Calamari Star Cruiser called the New Hope. On the bridge, it's very similar to Return of the Jedi and the Mon Calamari Cruiser from what's the second new Star Wars film? Not Force Awakens.
Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi.
No, that's the third.
The
one.
Last Jedi.
No,
That's the second one. The last one is the Rise of Skywalker.
Oh yeah, Last Jedi. Because that had a Mon Calamari Cruiser in it as well,
Yeah.
and that's got a kind of bridge element to it.
Yeah.
That one got blown up.
Yeah.
So you've kind of got this massive star screen in front of you again. You can see TIE fighters and X-Wings flying by, Mon Calamari, fish people, basically, and manny controls and holographic displays and kind of shouting orders to each other. And there's a load of dashboards with flashing warning lights and battle statistics. The bridge seems to be divided up into kind of three main areas. You've got fighter control, where someone's commanding the fighter wings. You've got the kind of ship's command and control element, and then you've got the ship's kind of weapon systems and weapon command. And in amongst it all, in the sort of World War II kind of bunker-esque command area, is this large holographic command table with a bunch of sensor probes and tactical equipment above it hanging from the ceiling. And this admiral in his rebel uniform is kind of looking at holographic displays of like various different squads of X-Wings and TIE fighters and Star Destroyers flying around in the space. And he goes, General, thank you. General gives the Admiral a salute. And the Admiral goes, right, okay, so...
I think Catalana would probably salute as well.
Okay.
She's kind of getting... Yeah, it's kind of a bit of... I'm too used to being in space battles. She's just... That, and she's kind of actually signed up with this lot now, so... Yeah.
So this is
making his way down the corridor. Mon Calamari goes past. Do you need help? No, it is fine.
So this Mon Calamari admiral, he's a Mon Cal, like I've said, but he's got very kind of blue, sort of white skin. It's blue with kind of like blue. Sorry, let me start again. It's white grey with sort of blue mottled patches on it. He is old for his species, and they've kind of got those sort of like ganglia, like little bits hanging from their chins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like that. His are grey, like they're almost like grey beard of weird ganglia.
Grey flesh beard.
Flesh beard.
He has a grey flesh beard.
He has a grey flesh beard. So, and he kind of gives you the eye, which is a bit weird coming from Mon Cal because their eyes can look in different directions and they're almost on the side of their head. So one eye's looking at one of you and the other one's looking at another as they're kind of going up and down. And he goes, right, well, haven't you four got yourselves in an awful mess? Right.
Yeah.
It is imperative to the survival of the Rebel Alliance, to the new republic that we want to make and forge, and frankly, to the galaxy as large, that we do not allow this Death Star to fall into enemy hands, to fall into Imperial hands. Now, if what the general here says is the case, and if what you're telling me is true, an old acquaintance of ours by the name of Darth Viscera already has that information. So you can bet your 2 credits that Count Duke Villainous
will be on the way very quickly.
Will be on the way, but we have an advantage, and that advantage is you.
Okay.
You've already been there.
Yeah.
And what we can do is we can use your starship as a hyperdrive anchor. I've had my guys run the numbers, and they tell me that if you are able to kind of update your hyperdrive computer and make a successful hyperdrive jump, we can almost kind of link our hyperdrive computers together so that we can jump with you, on you, to the location.
Okay.
Doing an instantaneous jump, and not having to go through the faff of all having to do the navigation coordinates separately, taking up extra time, not having to worry about the having to navigate this nebula that you mentioned, and frankly, it'll be more efficient. It'll be more efficient tactically. So what I need you.
There is a Suma Verminoth in the
Space Kraken
in the vicinity. So.
Oh, Dale. Oh, yeah, I know Dale.
I don't know how to avoid getting destroyed by that other than not being there.
We came close last time.
A lot of this is going to have to be planned on the fly. We've got this plan to get there, but we don't know for sure. I feel like I should be putting on a Mon Calamari voice, like, it's a trap. We don't know
I
for
think
sure.
you probably should.
Oh, yeah,
We don't know for sure. We don't know for sure what. We don't know for sure what the situation will be tactically when we arrive. For all we know, the Imperials might already be there. We don't know if we have plans for the original Death Star. We don't know if those will corroborate with the Death Star that you found, that tactically, if we have that information to destroy it, or if it will be similar in construction to the second Death Star we destroyed, and if we have to destroy it that way, we just don't know. What we will need to do is identify how we can destroy it when we arrive, hence being on the fly. I sound more like Winston Churchill.
Well, but yeah, that's pretty much what they are. I think that's just how they speak. Just kind of like all Mon Calamari sounds slightly like concerned and in a hurry. Are we going to get some coffee today? Yes, we are going to get some coffee today.
So,
it's a trap. Sorry.
Yeah.
Can you four?
If he borrows a cigar from the other general, he can look like Churchill.
Can you four put together the upgrade we need to your hyperdrive and make that jump? Is your pilot up for it? So awful. So sorry. Is your pilot?
I'm up for the jump. Mirabelle will make the upgrades.
Yeah.
Right. We'll hop to it.
We should probably also get word to the captain if his intent to switch sides is.
We are already been
known
trying.
to me.
We have already been trying. We have in fact gone straight to the captain and tried to communicate with him, but we also feel that that captain's boss, Commodore, or is he an admiral now? I don't know. Zazir might also, if not defect, at least want to kind of support us in doing this, because I don't think he would want this piece of tech to fall into the hands of his enemies, and the enemy of my friend is all that. So we'll see.
True,
but
but someone wishing
reach
to leave his chain of command is never going to go down well.
This is true.
And it will be good if
you couldn't get dental, so you had to leave.
The general here will be going with you with his commandos in case you have to board the Death Star. In case he needs to board it, I should say.
Please, forever on the chat say some of you may die, but that's a risk I'm willing to take.
Gone Shrek now.
What I like is, can I just say, I realised that I have the instructions of how to get to the Death Star, but I can't remember.
You don't remember it. That's the thing.
Yeah, and but I was given like protocols to give it to like a high-ranking official,
it was a high-ranking Imperial official.
Yeah, I don't have it. I don't know. I know that, so I don't know how I'm meant to trigger it. I guess if someone asks me, but
oh well.
Droid, give me the data. I just download the entire like Death Star plans.
What was I going to say?
Just my medical records.
I've lost my thought. Yeah,
medical records for a space station.
Yeah.
Right.
When it was 3, it had space. It had metal flu.
Get down to your ship and begin the preparations.
Yep.
Right, Eve.
Yes.
You are about to quite possibly make the most important role of the campaign for you.
Oh!
So what you have to do is upgrade your hyperdrive and then link it to the navigation computers of the New Hope, and then they can kind of link it to the rest of their small fleet. You can do this 2 ways.
The links.
I will allow, or my suggestion is either
copy and paste it.
What?
Space transport repair, which I'll allow, or computer programming repair. They both fall under technical.
Yeah. I've got space transport repair. I've got like.
Could I assist?
I've got specialization for YT 1300, but
I also have a specialization for YT 1300 on space transport repair. So it's like my only thing I have in space transport repair.
Well, I was about to say before you offer your assistance. Colin, Eve, is this? Do you want to spend your force point?
Nah,
I guess that would be a good time to do it. Yes.
Nah, just let's see. Let's fucking go random, and if it fails, we're just like, oh, I
Colin,
guess.
you're actually
as in the biggest role I will ever do in this campaign.
Yeah, wing it.
That seems like a suitable time.
Yeah.
Colin, you're actually a bit busy to assist because you're planning your flight plan. So
okay, fine.
You've got to plan your flight plan out of a combat zone, out of the fleet, and then get ready for a clear jump. The general at the moment is absolutely. I mean, he understands what he's got to do, but he's a bit miffed because he's about to leave all his men behind.
Yep.
On the planet. So he at the moment is also distracted because he's shouting down the comlink to his major, saying, right, we're about to go. You need to bunker down, hold your position. If you have to fall back. But, you know.
Where were they going to fall back to?
Exactly.
It's fine. We all know that the Imperials are very benevolent. They treat their prisoners kindly. They don't.
Says the ex-Imperial medical droid who was used to resuscitate tortured victims.
Well, I'm just
not quite sure where you got that idea from.
Oh, that Imperial propaganda's working. So, Eve, what do you think? Are you going to spend your force point?
Yeah, sure.
What are you going for? Droid? What?
No, I'm going for
starship repair or
space transport repair.
Okay, make the roll.
Do I get to apply the specialty for YG 1300 or not on this one? Because it's a mix of two. So
yeah, I'll allow.
All right, so that's gonna be 6 dice for the normal roll plus force point is like double the.
So your force point doubles the pool, so you're rolling 12d.
Oh boy, that's gonna be an interesting roll.
But remember, you can't now spend character points.
Yes. I already have a reroll waiting for me apparently.
We have the utmost faith in you.
Yeah, is someone keeping an eye on the
this is
on the Twitch
interesting.
feed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't even rolled the thing. I got a reroll already.
While this like very dramatic and important scenes happening, Gax and E2 are playing Planet Spaceship Force Field, just in like Planet Spaceship Force Field. Force Field.
All right, that's interesting. I got just 6 on the wild die already. All right, I need to now I need to do total thing. Okay, so that's. So I've got. I can't remember wild die. 6 are re-roll the wild die, right?
Yep. And then add that.
John
as well.
Williams
If you
was
roll
the
another
player.
6, keep on rolling.
And so that's going to be 5. So I've got.
Well, that's not John Williams.
So I've got 6, 6, 6. That's 18 plus 5, 4 5s. That's 20 more. Plus a 4, plus a 2, and 3 1s. That's 3. That's gonna total to something like 38 into 3 is 40, 47.
No, it's not good enough.
Okay. So you have successfully slaved
On 12 dice. I mean, like.
You've successfully slaved your hyperspace navigational computer array into the hyperspace navigational array of the Mancal cruiser. Not only that, but the rest of the Rebel fleet has perfect synchronization with your ship and the New Hope, meaning that when you jump, they will jump at the exact same time and to the exact location in perfect synchronicity. And in perfect unison through hyperspace. You have reduced the amount of time it's going to take to get there as well by shoring up and repolarizing the navigational pathway through hyperspace. So that was very successful. So you're going to save some time there.
What's fun? We haven't told everyone else that we're hyper jumping. We're going into hyperspace. So it would just be like a pitch dog battle. It's like, wait, where am I? We're in the middle of nowhere. Oh yeah,
so
sorry.
You can all feel the New Hope begin to move as it kind of starts ponderously banking away, because it is a capital ship, away from the Star Destroyers that it's engaging. Turbo lasers fire in the distance, and there's again the occasional rocking noise. Crew, engineers, medics, pilots running across the deck as they kind of scramble to kind of get back to posts as the ship kind of moves and gets ready to head towards hyperspace. So you take off from the deck. I'm not going to make you roll for that. And because you've been prepping and you know
5D plus 2, take off. 1 1 1 1 1.
And you know the route you're going to take.
Engine stall.
You know the route you're going to take.
Yep.
You successfully kind of bring. So, like the Millennium Falcon flying through the Rebel fleet in Return of the Jedi, you know,
you did the music quite good.
With the A wings and the B wings and the Y wings following behind it, it flies in between the Nebulon B frigate and the Moncal cruiser.
Do we have smoke rings behind us?
Yeah, absolutely. And you get to the front of the fleet now, Colin.
And I didn't even ask for an A-wing. I was very restrained.
So let me hold you there a sec before you roll. This is probably going to be your most important roll.
Do you want to spend
a force point?
Sure, why not?
So, because this is also going to balance out with, because when you went to the space station last time, you almost flew into it.
Yeah. Let's not fly a Mon Calamari cruiser into the space station, because I can turn more quickly than they can.
Which is why this is an important role. Because not only are you trying to bring the ship out of hyperspace in a safe position, you're trying to do it in a way so that they are near enough to the Death Star to do whatever it is they need to do to figure out how to blow it up.
Well, I mean, if the Moncal just gets out of hyperspace into the space station, it's gonna just blow it up. So that's
no, it'll blow up the Mon Calamari cruiser. Probably. I expect that the Death Star can withstand that.
Maybe.
I mean, hyperspace, no, but if we're coming out of hyperspace, anyway. Sure. If I spend a force point on this, do I double the +2?
Ooh, good question.
Or
no, it increases.
It increases the end result, and then you add the thing, isn't it? Because if it doubled everything, then that would be insane. Like that would
it's
be...
a force point. It's already insane. I'm already rolling 10 dice. I want to know whether I'm adding 4 or 2 at the end. I mean, come on.
So you're saying, does it accumulate
you could do 11 plus 1.
Or does it accumulate into 11 plus 1?
If you double 2 pips, it's like one dice plus 1 pip.
Yeah, plus 1 plus 1 pip. I actually think it's the first one. I think it's just 2 pluses.
Yeah,
just
double the amount. The total.
It's just going to be It's going to be 8. It's going to be 10d10 plus 4. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, that is 8.
That's ridiculous.
12.
It's usually
if this was a longer campaign, getting them back is a bugger.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm glad that was my wild die on the first roll and didn't count as a wild die on the second roll. So, 16, 22, 28.
I mean, it would certainly be a way to end a movie if we just got everyone
37.
killed.
37. Right. Okay. So,
what happens when you double a 5d plus 2 skill?
You set your navigational computer. It's a very successful roll. You set your navigational computer with the links that Eve's character...
it was astrogation, not piloting. So forget the +2. That was actually an irrelevant conversation. Sorry. In which case, it's merely 33.
It's 35. That's 33.
It's a mere 33.
It's a mere 33. I think that's fine. You
Shocking.
Still passed. So you
might miss destination by like 2 centimeters.
Space centimeters.
You set the hyperdrive navigational system. It's networked into the other hyperdrives in the fleet. You set your coordinates, and the ship goes into hyperspace as you pull the levers down on the hyperspace control panel. The star screen blurs into that sort of red, bluey, white tumble, and the ship accelerates off. Almost 4 or 5 minutes later, because of the shortness of the distance and the success of those rolls, you're out of hyperspace already.
Yeah.
3 things happen.
All our escort ships explode.
It's a trap! First of all, your sensors. Well, you haven't got any.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our sensors cut out.
Your shields, you haven't got any, but that's not my 3 things. So, weirdly, around the nebula is these giant balls, just blobs of what can only be described as this yellow ichor-like blood floating in space around you.
Someone's blown up the Kraken.
Well, you've come out of hyperspace through the Kraken.
you just press a little button and the little windshield wipers
through the Kraken.
Basically tearing it in half. Which one? As you came out of hyperspace, like they did to that Star Destroyer in the new movies.
Oh dear!
You did this to a giant space Kraken. You came out of hyperspace and it just got everywhere. But because it happened,
hyperspace ramming Krakens.
Yeah.
Aren't like most Hammer ships like stark white, so it's just going to be if it gets it's like come on, I just had it painted.
You also don't have windscreen wipers.
Achievement unlocked.
It's a bit
kill the giant space Kraken.
Unfortunately, that does mean that bit of the blood is kind of like freezing up on your cockpit screen. because you don't have window screen wipers in space, apparently.
Yeah.
So
just lean out the window and just spit on your hand and kind of.
We'll send the droid
out of hyperspace. Try healing it. Out of hyperspace and flowing through the Kraken.
Yeah.
Second thing.
Okay, no Kraken.
Death Star is at a safe distance from you, so you don't have to pull away. You can see it through the mist. The cloud is a little bit thinner. You think maybe it might have had something to do with the fact that this squid has just giant squid has just blown up inside it.
Octopus thing.
Octopus, Kraken.
Yeah. So it's just probably a mix of these. I don't know. I'm not sure what's the exact differences between squid and octopus, to be honest.
I'm not a marine biologist.
Different species. They have significantly different.
Yeah, probably, but I don't know them.
Different anyway, to be honest, it's neither. It's in space.
It's also dead. So
the thing that it vaguely looks like the most that we can draw a parallel to. Yeah. Anyway.
And it's in space.
And the
Kraken's in space.
Is that your comlink starts to go, and the Admiral goes, we are attempting to draw power from other systems within the ship to see if we can get any sensor readings. It's taking a massive power boost. Please bear with us. Divide into kind of like spread out, divide into combat formations. So that was kind of like general comms out to the fleet.
Okay, if someone actually gives me a part in those combat formations, I will take one. But I'm assuming that with the general on board, we're not.
Yeah.
Get into truck formation.
So the general shouts you over to the kind of like lounge area of the Moncal cruiser, where he's kind of using.
We're in the YT 1300 cricket.
YT 1300. Sorry, you know the lounge area where the little game table is and the sofa. And he set up another kind of holographic display on the table.
If I can see that from the cockpit, I'm not leaving the cockpit.
Okay. And he goes, right, we've just received this from the Admiral. They have been able to successfully power up their sensors using other ship systems, but at the moment the Moncal cruiser is pretty vulnerable because they've just blown a couple of power couplings doing it. So they are down a percentage on their systems. I don't know what. I'm not a pilot. It appears that the Death Star does follow plans to the original one.
Would make sense.
Now, looking at this moon, however, seems to have had a lot of volcanic activity back in its past of this planetoid, and there seems to be sort of volcanic flumes and tunnels running throughout that can be accessed from the surface.
Right.
We need you to fly in. We'll send an escort with you. Fly into the superstructure. And whereas, as with the second Death Star, where we basically destroyed the power core, this time we need you to land at the power core.
Okay. Not particularly aware of what happened to the second Death Star, but carry on.
Well, we blew it up.
Yeah, I got that.
And that's how we did it. We flew into the superstructure whilst it was being built. Now, this time we're going to be able to fly into the superstructure through these volcanic tunnels and flumes through the planetoid into the Death Star side of it, access the power core. Problem, we can't blow it up until it's powered up.
Yes, that seems somewhat logical.
We're blowing it up? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're blowing it up. Yeah, we think the Imperials are already on board.
Oh.
Okay.
Not their fleet. We can't find their fleet. I mean, we're sending out pickets to see if we can find their fleet. But we've identified that one of the hangar bays seems to have a gravity field in it. And
So there's a Sith on board there where we're going to land. Awesome.
Let me worry about him.
Sure.
Your job is to fly us into those tunnels.
Yeah. My job is to get you there, and if possible, get you out.
My boys have brought some explosives with them.
Yep.
We don't have to blow up the main power core. We need to put these explosives by one of the power couplings leading to the main power core. When the Death Star gets blown up, it will overload one of the power couplings, and the power couplings will overload the power generator, creating a cascade reaction. Then we fly the hell out of there as the thing blows up around us, just like old times.
Yeah.
Maybe for you, I've not done flying through exploding spaceships before. But, I've not done flying through giant Krakens before, so, first time for everything.
We could always try what we did to the Kraken.
I'd rather not.
I think that seems to be a bit of a fluke.
Yeah, and it's a miracle that we
pull
don't...
that off without us dying. Is the okay. Right.
So we've got
we got a route.
We've got an X-wing and a couple of A-wings to come with us. Do you think you'll be able to get us through here? And he's kind of zoomed in on the holographic display to a kind of big giant cave mouth. Can you aim for here and fly through?
How narrow does it get?
Don't know.
Awesome, let's find out.
What's the appropriate
Star
Wars code for that? Is like, I wonder who they found to pull that off.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
I this one too, I guess. Yeah.
Well, if we're not getting shot at on the way in, I'll try and take it slow on the way in so we can map our route for the way out without crashing into any walls, hopefully. And hey, if the Imperials decide to power the thing up for us while we're on the way in, then that's one less job when we get there.
Okay. Yeah, right. But if they're on there, they're taking a long way down because we're flying straight into the superstructure. They've landed on one of the main pads, one of the main hangar bays. They've got a long walk.
Yeah. Please forever suggest for the quote, "This is not a cave."
I really hope it is a cave because I do not want to. Because trying to get into their superstructure down the gullet of a giant space worm. We do not have. There are only two ways to leave most creatures, and some creatures there's only one. So Let's leave that thought aside. I'm guessing you're going to want a piloting role.
Actually, I'm going to want several.
Oh yes.
So let's start with your first piloting role.
Okay, so that is 14, 18, 20.
Okay. You follow the contours of the sort of Death Star's sort of cityscape, and then it breaks into sort of rocks and craters, and then you see this big cave hole. You kind of bring the ship out and then back down into the black inky depths of this cave mouth. You bring the ship's lights on, but positively, when you enter, the ship's sensors come on.
Ooh, nice.
At which point, Jim.
Yep.
I'm assuming you're in a gun turret.
Yep.
Coming from a nearby passageway are two TIE fighters.
Okay.
Do you want to take a shot?
So much for not being shot at.
Do you not have an escort with us?
You do, and they've kind of like... Problem is, it's quite cramped. And they are beside you, and you've got you're the only ones with a gun turret, which means you're the only one who can turn
we can rotate,
The physics of Star Wars.
We can shoot backwards because
20
Star Wars physics is weird. On the other hand, dodging is going to be a bitch. On the one hand, dodging is going to be a pain. On the other hand, dodging is going to be a pain.
Yeah, like real life aircraft have forward-facing guns.
Well, yes, because for some reason, because George Lucas liked World War II.
Yeah, no, I know it. I'm like, no, I get that. I just
Dogfights. So we have
about to
dogfights
say,
in
like,
space, despite
if
that
we
not
didn't-
making
if
any
we-
sense.
if we didn't have an escort, I was about to say, holy shit, like, wow, they're just trusting us with this general right here. But no, they've given us an escort.
It's just.
All right,
To be
20.
fair, that makes for great cinematic.
It does.
It
Think
does
so,
make
yeah.
for some quite good cinema. So yes, that's kind of the reason for it.
Okay, I didn't dodge. Roll for damage.
Oh, cool.
You've got 4D.
4D damage. Oh, and remember we've got the plus 2D targeting for in case you didn't include that on the previous roll. Not that it matters now, but
No, I didn't.
but for the next one.
When we
Wow.
fail by
A
2.
6 on the wild die.
Doesn't do anything for damage, I'm afraid.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a shame. 18 damage.
Okay.
Not bad.
Okay, that's definitely done
That's pretty
something.
good roll.
Hold on.
That definitely fucks them up.
Stay on target.
While we do this, Colin, can you make your second piloting roll, please?
Sure.
Hang on, there's a turn in the tunnel. Oh.
Well, we're being shot at, so I'm trying to do
Can
something.
you roll
yeah.
another D6, Jim? Just one D6.
1d6. At 4.
7,
17.
4.
So, I've
Okay, one of the weapon placements has been destroyed.
which on a TIE fighter means
One of its blaster cannons is
it's just
because
one
it's
of
twin linked.
okay.
I was going to have to lean out and shoot with his blaster.
Well, to be fair, they're
Oh, I
not a
did
pressurized cockpit anyway, so
Well, I'm not so sure about that anymore because I was watching The Mandalorian, and they do a TIE fighter. Has anyone here seen The Mandalorian?
no.
Yeah.
So there's a TIE fighter in The Mandalorian, and Mandalorian is very, very kind of like honest and true to the original Star Wars films, and certainly has a more sort of space
Yeah, so
western.
I've heard,
feel to it. But the TIE fighter flies onto this planet and then lands, and it lands by its wings kind of folding like that.
That's the general's one, isn't it? Or the commander, the Imperial commander. The real nasty guy, yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah. There are various models of TIE fighter. The standard TIEs.
But his kind of cockpit looks sealed as well in the kind of casing. Anyway,
his one probably is because he's actually worth spending some money on.
Yeah,
It's not
his
like
TIE fighter.
It's not like the grunt type. This is what I was saying. There is only one. There is only one trooper, one type of personnel more expendable than your basic Imperial TIE fighter pilot, and that's the Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Okay.
The TIE fighters have nothing. They've got an engine and a couple of guns, and that's it.
Yeah, TIE fighters design are quite interesting because why do they have like wings in space?
They're not wings; they're solar panels.
Yeah. Well, not sure what
They're
they are powering with that.
The twin ion engine.
They're actually apparently an absolute liability when they're in atmosphere.
Yeah.
Because massive resistance from directions you don't expect. Anyway.
So, you hit this TIE fighter, you've taken out one of its weapons, the A-wings behind next to you kind of slow down and let the TIE fighters pass over them so that they've then got the opportunity
to they can get behind the TIE fighters and actually
so they're now
do their
trying
job.
to weave and duck, and it means the TIE fighters are
Putting
kind
the
of
rakes.
getting away.
The TIE fighters are having to do something other than
Colin, what did you get for your second piloting roll?
21.
Okay. The ceiling gets really low, but unlike in Return of the Jedi, you don't lose your radar. As you bring the ship down, you kind of twist it around and gets thin, it gets wide, it gets narrow, it goes up, it goes down, it swoops, it's left, right, and this kind of black crusted tunnel with those smooth edges because it's volcanic, so a lot of lava has come down here. Flies past you, but eventually the rock begins to kind of make way for mechanics, and you can see pipes and electrical cables and the occasional walkway and maybe a door. Make another roll, final roll.
How many of the TIE fighters are still with us by this point?
They're with you, but the A-wings have kind of gotten.
Yeah, they're not able to get much of a shot because to line up
No,
their
they're
shot
not
would
able
require,
to shoot you, and they're
would
too
require
busy ducking
exposing
and weaving
themselves.
as well.
Whoa, nice. 25.
Fantastic. Right. You are easily able to kind of dodge your way through the next stage, which is all kind of like that red scaffolding-like stuff that you see around the Death Star in Return of the Jedi as they're building it, that sort of like red construction framework. And you have to kind of make a way through a few towers of it, eventually coming out into the power generator room of Return of the Jedi. But
Nice.
unlike Return of the Jedi,
It's dark.
there's no light, and B, it's also partially rock. So one wall is built into the rock of the planetoid. The other one has kind of like got that curved look to it. It's got the centerpiece as well, but it's also got gangways and walkways made from the rock on it as well. And you land the ship.
I'll probably yell something at Gax about why are those TIE fighters not dead yet?
I'm doing my best.
He's working on it. Gax, do you want to make one more shot?
Yeah, of course I can.
Before you land.
So got an extra 2d6 plus 1, is it, did you say?
It's an extra just 2D.
It's
from me.
2d6.
I can't check them.
10, 19, 22, 25, 27.
27, that's pretty good. Hold on.
Some
I'm already
good
ducking
rolls
weaving.
today.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, my mistake. 24.
Still hits. Roll for damage.
10.
Oh, bugger. Well, saying that,
A 6, a 2, and 2 1s.
Yeah.
10's still pretty good because I've rolled poorly. Still, again, on the roll a d6.
Well, we're softening them up for the A-wings to finish
6.
off.
Lost 1d from its maneuverability. Oh, it's moved on to the heavily. Roll again, sorry.
3.
The weapon systems are destroyed. It can't do anything. You've completely fried all its weapon systems. So it kind of banks away and starts heading towards another tunnel to retreat. Right. We all need to leave now, says the general.
All?
I'm ready.
Let's go. Is it?
Where are we heading?
Would it not make sense for me to remain with the ship?
If you want.
Depends on how quickly you want to leave when you get on board.
No, what are you doing?
I don't know.
Wait, I
know we haven't been able to do a lot with your droid, and
No,
I'm sorry, but
no.
seriously.
My brain was like, we need to go. And my brain was like, maybe I should do some of my eyes to gesture, we need to go. But I didn't really know, so I just started rolling.
You looked like one of those gremlins.
Yeah.
From the Mogwai, the crazy one from Gremlins 2.
Yeah, with the, I don't really know. I don't really do it. Like, let's go. I don't know.
If you think you're going to be more help to us here, that's fine. But we know those Imperials are out there, so we might need every gun we can get.
Yeah, I can handle a blaster. Just fine.
Good enough for me. Let's go, ladies and gents. Let's get a move on. So you kind of bundle down the deck. And you're heading along this kind of like rocky Bridge of Khazad-dûm style kind of walkway out of rock. Very little way, well, nothing to protect you from the deep drop below.
Yeah.
It's dark. You've all kind of got your torch lights on.
I guess that's
and
better that it's dark than red and fiery with something behind us.
Being chased by a Balrog, yeah.
We don't have our space wizard with us, so it would be annoying.
We have a sniper rifle, though.
Well, it's funny you should mention that. So
They are the ones with the space wizard. That's kind of the problem here.
down below you,
Yeah.
on another walkway, you think you can see the Imperials.
Okay.
A group of specialists. You know the the Death Star stormtroopers, the ones from Rogue One.
Death Troopers.
Death Troopers.
Yeah.
A squad of them with this wraith-like Sith walking between them.
There we are again.
Ground fog below you. But you've got a shot right now.
Yeah, we'll take it.
So
Is
do
it
you
just
want to
blaster?
It's just it's blaster. The speciality would be blaster rifle or blaster rifle sniper. Now, do you want to spend a force point or?
Yes.
Because the force point means you're going to hit. Well, maybe not. Unlike our other guys, Raj, you're also aiming for a NPC who also has force points.
Yeah. But on the other hand, making the NPC spend a force point to not get her head blown off means she's not spending the force point to completely and utterly annihilate us.
Very true, very true, very true.
So that gives me 8D plus 4.
Yeah. The thing is,
and another
being
problem,
a Sith, they probably have many force points,
it's
which
also
is going
not
to be
going to double the damage.
That's fine.
But you've got 60.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be really pissed off. Really.
Oh, definitely.
11.
I would get annoyed when someone tries to blow my head off.
20, 29, 30, 34 plus 4, 38.
Hold on.
I sense a sniper rifle being pointed at me.
Pretty much.
Yep, you've hit.
Okay. Oh.
And dead.
So you bring your blaster rifle up, take off the cap from the scope, line them up in your sights. You're taking him. Did you add an extra die for your blaster rifle? Your scope, because you're aiming.
I didn't.
So you can have an extra 2 die, but you've hit anyway. So
yeah.
You bring them in your sights, and you think for the briefest of moments, this black robed hooded figure looks up directly at you, its red eyes glowing, before you then.
Or you pull the trigger and it all goes.
Fire your blaster rifle. Roll 60.
11, 22,
60.
26, 26, 28.
Okay.
That's a lot of ouch.
It's a lot of ouch. I'm going to be trying to use a force power called Absorb Dissipate.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not.
So she holds her hands. She holds her hand up like that, like Darth Vader. You know, when he gets shot at by Han Solo.
Yeah.
Except that you're not using a holdout blast.
Yeah. So she holds her hand up like that, and the blaster bolt. Hold on.
Oh, come on! Come on! Don't leave us in suspense. It could.
Hits her hand, and she gets blown off.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Off the bridge that she's on, because they're on another one of these bridges as well, and she falls into the darkness below. At which point, the Death Troopers all turn around and point their guns at you and start opening fire. The general goes, "You guys take these explosives to the power coupling, We'll hold off the stormtroopers. If we beat the stormtroopers, we will activate the power core. If not, the Imperials will activate the power core, and it's your job done anyway. Get your asses in gear and get a move on. And they start kind of laying on fire on the Imperials.
So which of us has demolitions?
I think he comes under technical, so I might be able to do things.
Technical, yeah.
Yeah, you just chuck it down, pull the pin, run away.
I've got no.
Because repairing things, blowing up things, same thing.
Yeah,
all mounts to the
all
same
the
kind of
same.
thing. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
You got a specialty in demolitions?
No, I've got none.
Okay. Cool. I need to go AFK for a moment. I'll be back.
I am particularly crap at tech as well, so I've only got 2 dice. So I would recommend that I don't have anything to do with those explosives whatsoever.
It'll all be fine. It'll work itself out. We just killed the big boss.
What's the worst that could happen?
I've got a 40 base on technical, so.
I mean, you know, it's the Sith way. You're on top of the world, and then someone just goes, and then you're off spiraling down into a deep
dark void.
Chasm. Yeah, exactly.
Weirdly, it's the same void that the Emperor fell into the power core, but this person's already at the power core. So
there's a theme about this going so down pits, apparently in Star Wars anyway.
Like
so that's
bombs. Yeah.
like Darth Maul, the Emperor.
If only we could fly.
Right.
Just backflip. Really
So,
hard.
you guys make your way through tunnels. You come off the bridge. You head through a sort of lava tube tunnel, which then comes to a sort of blast door, which you have to kind of physically open yourselves using the manual crank in the wall. And then you're in the Death Star architecture properly. So there's kind of like gunmetal grey hallways, arched walls now and again, those kind of like oval lights, all that familiar architecture that you see in Return of the Jedi and New Hope. As you kind of run your way through the corridors, very much like in New Hope, except you're not being chased by stormtroopers. Well, you might be being chased by stormtroopers, but at this point you're running with these demolition charges in a big box, kind of like opening the blast doors rather than closing the blast doors as you come to the power coupling. Now, this power coupling is one of 4, and if you place these demolitions properly, when this Death Star powers up, it will overload the power coupling because the power coupling won't be there anymore. You'll have destroyed it, and the energy won't dissipate properly. It will overload the power reactor. So, who wants to make a demolitions roll?
He's forever. He's complaining that we are using force point and he can't spend his garbage growths on rerolls.
Yeah. We're going cold turkey this time around.
All right, so demolition.
We might need to do it for this demolition roll.
Maybe.
This is a roll we do not want to screw up.
Nah, we'll again just wing it. You know, we're just.
Okay, I've got a 4D technical. Who has more?
Yeah, no.
No, I think you've got the
3D.
highest technical in the party.
I could possibly do an assist if that's an appropriate thing in this system /
You could like
roll.
lean over. No, the red wire. Stop. Just, I'll do it, right?
All right, so let's roll that.
It's more likely to be a hold this and right. If I hold that there and you do the.
I'm going to nervously move back.
Give me the hydro spanner.
Yeah.
It's heavy. Let me just put it down for a minute.
The hydro spanner. Right, make a roll.
It's gonna be 11.
Right. Okay. Eve. That's not a success.
Yeah,
Do you have a
four,
reroll
three,
banked?
1. Yeah, I think I had one that I haven't used
have a reroll
previously.
banked.
because I was using force points.
Yeah. Do you want to use your bank to reroll?
We should, yes. Make it worth it. It's been spent now, so it's the last session, so we don't want to keep that on hold.
Pull them all.
All right, let's see if I can do better. That sounds better already. 16.
Okay. 1 on the wild die at all?
4 on the wild die.
4 on the wild die. Okay. You have successfully set up the demolition charges. You don't have a remote detonator for it. They have to go off by timer. So you set the time, but it's at this point that you get a comlink from the general saying, the Imperials have us pinned down. We're unable to get to the power generator. They're unable to get to the power generator. Are you able to get to the power generator from where you are?
No.
Do we know where the power generator is? Because out of character, I'm not sure where it is.
Yeah, you're kind of like in the same. You're technically. Yeah. I mean, technically, you're in the power generator. This is kind of Star Wars architecture. It's so massive on scale. You're already
it's a moon-sized thing. Yeah,
you're already in the power generator. It's just like, can you go to the room which?
Can we go and hit the big on switch?
Yeah, the big button that makes everything resolve itself.
The big button that makes everything go boom.
Oh, that's so, yeah.
Well, technically, we need to detonate first at some point for things to go boom.
I don't want to be. Yeah, let's not put a too short a time on that.
No. Short fuse.
Okay, I'll give us 6 hours. Oh no,
well, this is the problem. You've got a timer detonator for this, but this thing has to be blown up before you activate the power core.
Ah, right.
Because for this to work, this coupler can't be here to activate the power, because it's the removal of this that will create the overload.
I was expecting the explosion of this to create the overload after and that can be done after it was.
It's the removal of the power coupling that will create the overload, because basically there'll be too much power going through the power core, and it'll go.
So basically, we need to blow up the things, and we need to power it up after it's blown up. That's an interesting.
Then power it up.
And then run really quickly.
That's an interesting conundrum.
Really quickly.
That'd be fine.
We're not blowing up. We're blowing up. We're blowing up one of the pipes and then going and turning the valve on.
Yes. Yeah. Good analogy.
So we just got to run. Yeah.
So what do we do? Have like what? Is it like shape?
There is
shape charge option. Or something? So.
Yeah, we put the explosive down. We've got the timer. We're gonna go click, boom. Well, not click, boom. We've put a little timer on it, and then when the time runs out, it'll go click, boom. And then we power it up, and then all the power is going to move through.
And then we run like.
And then we run like the clappers. Yeah.
Yeah. So you just start moving to go. E2B1 start going back towards the ship now, because we're going to have to run very quickly. We're going to have to run very quickly, and you can't.
I like the image that I'm still like just getting Pat clear of the battle now. Like I was like behind, and I've just seen the guys like in the pitch battle. Like, why are you here? I'm
coming. Why do you go back to the ship? Ooh.
Yeah.
You were saying that there's another option there, Dan, and then we all interrupted you.
Well, the other option is around timing, and so if you blow up this power coupling and then are unable to get to the power generator, or something delays the power coupling, and then you get to the power generator, and things to be certain, one of you could stay to switch it on.
How does one stay here and not get blown up by the explosives?
They don't. You get blown up.
No, that's What he's saying is that we wouldn't have to do any finicky timing of, okay, and it should go off in about 5 minutes, so we've got to get to the thing, do the thing, and then we've got to run, and then it'll blow up, and then it'll start the chain reaction. But what's being said is what we could do is just let it blow up and then let somebody go and activate the power and then just stay here because they wouldn't have enough time to run back. That's why we're being. I presume the timer's ticking down now. Like it's just like, oh, you've got 2 minutes. But yeah, like that's how I'm reading it. It's like the issue is trying to time it so that thing blows up before the power's on, but the power isn't on while we're trying to leave, if that follows, because I don't imagine we'll have a lot of time to get out as it's powering up. If that follows. Because once it hits the bit that we've just blown up, it's probably going to go bananas, is what I'm reading from this situation.
Uh-huh.
The droid's not fucking staying behind. The droid is getting on the ship. I'm just saying that.
Oh, he's just been ordered to start shuffling in that direction. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Admittedly,
So
he won't get that far yet.
Huh.
That's just I mean, that's basically if you want absolute guarantee that it will all work.
Yeah. Someone
needs to stay behind, or you throw the dice on fate or the force.
Or
I honestly
stormtrooper finds it. Oh, I just switched this on. Oh no!
I'd prefer no one gets blown up.
Yeah. I'm not volunteering for hero duty.
So any way we could like, how's the power activated?
A button.
It is. It's a power. It's a button. It's the power control room. And well, it's more like a sort of tower. You know, in New Hope, when Obi-Wan Kenobi is fiddling with the tractor beam controls, and he kind of spins something down, then pulls the lever. Then it's a system like that.
Okay, that's mechanical.
Yeah, because technically it would be a capital ship piloting role.
No, I mean the system is a mechanism.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not like something we could like rig some kind of maybe comlink to it to be able to activate it at a distance.
You could absolutely jury rig something if you wanted to, but you'd have to get eyes on it. And
let's get there and see what we can do.
And the bomb explodes. Well, we've had this whole like.
No, I assume you haven't got the timer. So you get to this kind of power activation unit, and it's like New Hope. It's like a tower in a very open space with deep holes next to it, and it's a thin walkway. And it's kind of got a lever that you need to turn, a dial that you need to turn, a couple of knobs to kind of bring across, and it's kind of like got an energy bar, and it's got that kind of familiar black Imperial control panel facade. That's not the word. Image to it. So you could do some sort of computer hacking role. Computer programming role?
No. Do we have any other idea?
I'm not even there, so I've got no clue. I'm shuffling as fast as I can.
Honestly, if you can make this blow up and give us a little bit of time to start getting towards an exit, and that's more time for us to live.
Yeah. All right, I guess I'm gonna try that.
So what are you gonna try and do?
So I'm gonna try to rig something on the panel so that we can time the activation of the generator, so we can synchronize charges and the activation, so we can start running away while the countdown is ticking.
Okay, so you want to be able to. You've got a remote. You've got a remote detonator on the demolition charges for the power coupling. You activate that to set it off. That goes off. But then you want to rig the computer to the power core activation system to go off with enough time for you to get away. That's basically what you're saying.
Well, ideally, we want the thing to like power on
almost directly after the power cutting goes
just
on.
right after. So if we know how many time we need, we just set up like X minutes, and we start running away when things start counting down.
Make a computer programming roll.
All right, it's gonna be technical 40. I don't get
yes.
computers.
You've got character points.
You only
I've
fail
got character
slightly,
points. Got 5 left. Do I have to? Yeah, I can add that later on, right?
Yes, you can.
Oh, this is gonna be. Oh, got a 6 on the wire die. It's gonna be 6, 9, 14, and 6, 20.
20.
20.
That's the success.
Great. How much time do we think we need?
Well, what do you want to do? Do you want the Death Star blowing up around you as you're escaping, or do you want it to Jim's cloak? Yeah, that's cool. Or
we need time to get to the ship, and we need to get to have the ship out of here so we can just not get blown up with the Death Star.
The problem is the longer you leave it, the longer you risk the Imperials finding what you've done.
Yeah, of course.
Don't worry, guys. I set
Come on, the Force is with us.
I set it to 30 space minutes, which is in light years. So unfortunately, that's 3,000 years. So we'll just.
It'll blow up eventually.
Yeah. Like 3,000 years from now, someone turns up going, "This is a really old structure. Oh, what's this ticking thing? Oh, 0."
So what do you want to do, guys?
Right, so
let's. I'm with Jim. Let's just do like a blaze of glory kind of thing, like run.
Right. So basically,
do we say like 15 minutes things, or
you can set it for it to be going off as you're getting into the ship.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could do that.
So you guys, run. You run faster than you have ever run in your career.
We might want to come link the guys to say, get back your ships now.
No, don't. Yeah, I'll be fine. They'll learn. They'll work out eventually.
I mean the other guys, the rebels and things.
The general,
that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what running past. Hey, what's going on? Oh, where were they going?
Oh, by the way, we set things up to blow up the Death Star.
Well, actually, speaking of which, Eve, while this has been going on, you've kind of been shuffling your way back, and you've made your way back to the general's position.
You mean Eve?
Oh, sorry, no.
No, it's fine. I love that. Just like, oh my goodness, someone's coming to save us. It's the Mechdroid. Oh, okay.
And they've actually found themselves in a bit of a serious firefight. More Imperials have arrived. And they're basically firing down on their position. They're firing up. They've had to take cover behind some barrels and crates and stuff. They've got a few wounded men. So you're kind of trying to apply medical assistance as best you can. Make a medic roll.
Okay.
It's forever. The other solution is just draw straws for someone who's going to stay behind.
That's 6. That would be 22.
You kind of patch him up, get a back to patch on him, seal his wound with this kind of like gluey foam. There's a couple of others that have kind of received peripheral trauma as well. Excuse me. And you're kind of tempering their wounds. As these guys turn up, running along, going, oh, and you kind of all get together. What's left of the commandos and the general. The general seems very adamant to be carrying on firing as long as possible.
Yes.
Eventually, you kind of having to pull him away. You run on board the ship.
I would stop to carry people, but I need to get on the ship.
Yeah, you're the first one there.
Yeah, I need to
start slamming on the controls.
Jump.
The ship starts shaking as like power kind of heats up the engines, and the repulsor lift engines kick in, and the landing gears start coming up. It's at which point that those of you from various kind of windows can see the power generator. Now, unlike in Return of the Jedi, where the explosion went up like a wave from the core, because this is more like an overload. I don't know if you've seen Independence Day, the first movie, where the kind of explosion happens in the stages, like boom, 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 boom,
yeah,
as they blow up various different buildings and towers and all that sort of stuff. The aliens, it's like that. The explosion is static and rises throughout the main column. It goes kaboom, 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 and then starts to fall in on itself. Rocks start to fall from the ceiling, banging onto the hull plating of the ship. The power generator starts rocking violently. It starts coming off its hinges and falling down. Pylons and scaffolding and circuitry start falling from the ceiling. Fireballs erupt. Take a piloting roll.
Yes. Piloting. That's not what I wanted.
Character points?
That'd be the one on the wild die.
Okay. Does our viewer want to put in a reroll? I say viewers. There might be more than one. You never know.
No,
actually, we've got like 2 people chatting plus speech.
Cool.
So
awesome. Always good.
Brotas, I've seen that name before.
Anyone giving us a reroll? Because if not,
Let's just die. Let's make this a super anticlimactic.
there you go.
And you all die.
Official reroll supplier.
Our official reroll supplier for the what is it? Thinking of the Warlords.
Yeah, we should probably like we at some point we need to make like some kind of advertisement on the backdrop of the video somewhere, sponsored by.
Pretty much.
Sponsored by Bliss Forever.
23.
Yeah. So you take the ship off. Fire erupts around you. The landing gears come up. You spin the craft around, heading towards the nearest tunnel. The fire starts building up towards you as you start flying through the scaffolding and the pylons. The mechanics of the Death Star start making way to those lava flumes. Rocks get lower and start shaking and falling around, and you make another piloting roll.
So, how many Goblag groats have you got, my friend?
We've lost Nye.
No, it's gone.
Nye's been blown out the airlock.
With that
You roll a 1, Nye gets blown out of an airlock.
Sharp turn. He gets knocked out on one of the wall of the ship.
Yeah, that's another one on the wild die because
oh boy,
I'm getting all the shit luck now.
Okay, unless there's a reroll, this is Star Wars. So as you're flying out of the explosion, is it stalactite that comes down? Stalagmite or
stalactites?
Bit of rock.
Stalactite basically knocks the satellite dish off the balloon.
There goes the satellite dish.
There you go. And it goes spinning off. The ship rocks violently.
Who needs sensors anyway? We're in the stupid nebula.
Who needs comms? Who needs sensors? Oh no, where's he gone? And you start flying through The lava flumes, the rocks start falling down. This fireball is chasing you up the tunnel. It begins to kind of fall around you, and the fire starts to begin to overtake the ship, goes above and below it and around it, and it begins to kind of lick and swarm around the cockpit. Make your final piloting roll. Don't get a 1.
I'll try not to. I now feel like I'm in a game of Crash Bandicoot. I didn't get a 1.
Hooray!
Yay!
And
it's on the wild die.
Yeah, on the wild die. Actually, I didn't get any 1s. That was pretty good. That was 23.
That was what, sorry?
23.
The YT-1300 frigate comes shooting out of the cave mouth. As the cave mouth explodes in a ball of flame, the ship comes out the ball of flame like a bullet from the gun, out into the void of space. There's a big woo from the crew of the ship. You make it out
what
the Death
happened to
Star
our escorts?
Yeah, they're not there.
That was the wild die ones.
Yeah, that was the wild die one. They didn't make it, I'm afraid. But you'll worry about that later. The ship manages to fly away, and behind you can see the Death Star begin to implode. Explosions start erupting from the rocks, from the plating. At first they're small, and whatever volcanic element that the planetoid had as well also seems to have triggered, and you can see lava spills start to come out, shooting out from the planet before they go cold in space. Eventually it cracks, snaps, and kind of explodes, creating a massive pressure bubble, is that? I don't know. Force bubble out. It's fine for your shields, but for the purple dust and fog and elements of this purple stormy nebula, it kind of seems to clear it out.
Yeah.
Revealing a massive Imperial fleet.
Hi. Bye.
Yeah. It's a trap.
It's a trap. Unfortunately, the rebels can't seem to go anywhere. Because the Home 1 had taken up such a massive amount of its power to do those advanced scannings on the Death Star to get the information. It still hasn't recovered. So the rebels are kind of making a desperate action to defend the Mon Calamari cruiser. Now, what do you think you guys would do now? Because you can leave. There's no nebula. There's no... there's nothing stopping you from going.
Technically, we still have a job to do.
You've destroyed the Death Star. I mean, the adjutants. Like,
yeah, well, the alliance is going to be happy with us.
Sort of successfully deliver.
Not very much.
We successfully delivered her message. Just unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's going to fare well, but yeah.
I'd kind of like to follow up on making sure that big black lady is dead. And
well, if she was on that Death Star, she is.
If she was on the Death Star, she's dead. If she's not on the Death Star, then we're in trouble.
Now you say that, but that didn't actually happen to Mr. Emperor, did it?
No, this is true.
Yeah.
Because reasons, because retcons.
Yeah.
Do you think you would stay in the battle? Or you'd go?
I'm not piloting the ship, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, let's blow some of the sons of bitches up, yeah.
We're not in a combat ship.
That's true.
You've got one gun.
We have one gun.
You've taken a bit of a kicking getting out of that Death Star.
This ship is not going to be much use in that fight.
No.
Nah.
That said, Catalana might be up for making a high-speed docking maneuver, jumping over to if they've got any fighters. and getting back out there.
You want to pilot that A-wing, right?
I want an A-wing, damn it! And not just so I can steal it. They're like X-wings, but with like atmosphere and hyperdrive and shields.
Yeah, one of my favourites. Okay, so
ability I'm used to, and without the, this is built to be blown up.
I kind of wanted Nye to be here for this bit because this is going to be we're moving desperately into the epilogue. It's the epilogue, the bit at the end of the story.
Yes.
Thank you. We're moving into the epilogue bit now. So
gonna try to raise him on Discord, yeah.
Yeah. If not, don't worry about it. No, oh, that was you popping up.
Yeah, that was me.
Okay.
On Discord.
So we see our players.
Oh, he's here. Hey.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
Yay.
You're all right now?
Yeah, no, I need to message Garblag to let me in because it cut for a moment, but the way the call works
yes.
and all that, yeah.
Okay.
Oops.
So, Nye, just for a quick update, you successfully destroyed the Death Star.
Awesome, yeah.
Flew out of there rather Return of the Jedi-like as the fire and buildings and stuff exploded around you. But
any Star Wars probably, because it's always someone coming out of explosions things, so yelling "Yoo-hoo!"
So we're just kind of moving into the epilogue here, and I wanted you here for this last bit.
Mm-hmm.
So can someone quickly message Garblag to say that we're probably in our last 5 or 10 minutes now?
Yeah, he's on the Twitch chat, so he should be hearing us.
He knows.
Yeah.
Okay, so we leave our heroes as they join the battle. They board the Moncal cruiser, drop off the general, support where they can, whether it's flying in an A-wing, supporting and repairing the ship, supporting with the medical side of it, or fighting in gunfights across the decks. Later on, though, after the battle is cleared and our players are able to leave, they make their way back to Boga the Hutt and his Arabian Nights style tent palace kind of thing, where you get paid, you don't get all of it, but Nye is able to access through a bit of support from Boga's totally legitimate droid people. They're able to access the location of the Death Star.
He's got some legitimate droid people?
And through a combination of the information that you have in Nye and the last of the hyperdrive data before it gets wiped, you sell the rights of the location to Boga the Hutt for a substantial amount of money. Cut again to our players sitting on a tropical beach, sipping drinks, their YT 1300 heavily modified in the background, relaxing and spending their well-earned money before they do their next journey. What their next adventure will be, who knows? But I'm sure it'll be just as epic. And that's it for Star Wars Tale of the Warlords. Thank you very much all for joining us tonight. I hope you all had fun. I hope you found it as fun as I did.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah,
guys, I hope you enjoyed yourselves.
Fantastic, thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was awesome. Good fun.
Please forever say, and you live happily after.
And they all live heavily after.
Right off into the sun.
I'm pretty sure we're going to be tempted by a more bounty.
He did leave out the word ever, which is probably appropriate.
Thank you very much to Garblag Games for giving us the online space to play the campaign.
Yeah.
And thank you very much to Garblag for giving me the opportunity for running something. It has been awesome, and I hope to see you all back soon. So thank you very much,
to do some match.
Yeah.
Much more, yeah.
Yeah.
And we will call it a good night there. Thank you very much, everyone. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Night.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye.
Take care.